Morning. Right, back to an acrylic abstract expression. I'll show you my palette first. There you are, piece of greaseproof paper on a board attached to my studio easel or radial easel, and that gives me a good working surface to paint from. I normally paint on watercolour paper with the acrylics, but I've got this piece of hardboard which I've cut to a frame size. It's better to paint, if you're not going to mount the things behind glass in a mount, and you're going to mount in a frame, it's better to paint for a frame that you've got and cut the boards down. This is hardboard. It's a thin building masonite, I think it's called in America. Very cheap. This is flooring grade, which means it's quite soft when you rub it down. I'm working on the smooth side. The other side's got a machine finish pressing. So we don't use that. It would take a lot of paint to fill all these little indentations. I've primed it with one coat of dilute PVA glue. I'm going to use my 1.5 inch brushes. I'll use a couple of these. This one is a Pro Art varnish brush. This is a similar, much cheaper version than I got from a DIY store. That I got from an art store. The paints, mostly with the exception of the bit of yellow ochre and white, are cheap Wilkinson's, store's own brand, own label anyway. But they're very good for this. They've gone up in price, but they're still only £2 for a tube, 200ml tube, which is very good value. And you'll notice that they've got flat wide lids. I store them down so that the paint seals, and it means that all the paint in a half filled empty tube stays where you want to actually squeeze it out of the bottle, so you don't have to shake it or anything. And that way you get all the paint out of the tube and don't throw any away. Right, okay, I did a watercolour yesterday, a watercolour impression of the view from my friend Anne Sterling's garden in Maine, well, in the state of Maine. And it's not, I don't copy, I just do an impression of things. I try to anyway, mainly because I'm not a good copyist, and I try to do what I'm good at rather than struggle with what I'm not good at. But the abstract, painting abstract expressionism, making it up as you go along with no reference material other than what comes out of your head, and follow the brush and create patterns. The object is try to create an attractive piece of work, really, that pleases you, and it gives you some freedom. It frees your mind to paint rather than to concentrate on what is there. Great exponents of that are Jackson Pollock and Mark Rothko, and I love both of them. So I'm going to take a bit of what I've got on my palette. I'll tell you what I've got in case you ask. I've got lemon yellow. Yeah, it's what is it? It's what colour is that? Lemon yellow, yellow ochre, the white of course, some orange, some cadmium red, some ultramarine black, and some viridian. That's all, 2, 4, 6, 7 colours plus the white. So I'm going to mix some blue, ultramarine blue in with the black, just to get a dark sort of just make a start really. That blue in. This is how Dennis Sheehan starts with his oil painting, and I did a couple 3 years ago, and one is still getting lots of views. It's had about 50,000 odd views, which is pretty good really, considering it was so out of the box using linseed oil to make it flow, and just doing an abstract painting in the middle and work away until you got something. Until something started to happen, but it wasn't abstract. It was it became like a pond with some trees and a bit of sunset, just using two colours. It was a great challenge. I loved doing it. So I mixed a bit of white with a bit of blue, make it a nice grey. So I get some paint on really before we can see where we're going. Let's put a bit of ochre. I'm not using any medium. Well, not yet anyway. I'm just piling the paint on. I'm not cleaning the brush at this stage. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is the trouble when I forget to go. Well, there you go. There you go. You haven't missed much, have you? Right. Get these greys on. I haven't primed the board with a colour because the board itself is a nice warm colour. So just you need a lot of white. I'm going to change hands because of my sake. I would like to use canvas for this really, but for two reasons. One, canvas, the number of paintings I do a week, I don't bother to sell them. If somebody wants to buy them, they can. I'm in a gallery, but he's a framer more than a picture seller. But the 5, 6 large canvases a week would be quite a bit of an expense. But not only that, I've got so little room now. I've got a large room here, or most of the large room. And it's getting filled with, well, piles of watercolours, demos, well over 1,000 of those in 3 piles. I've got all the acrylic demonstrations. I've now got an expanding abstract section, and I've got under that cupboard, in that cupboard there, that's under the eaves, a storage cupboard. This is a loft conversion. That's stuffed with paintings as well, mostly canvases. So hardboard and paper, watercolour paper, are very good surfaces to work on, and they don't take up the room that a canvas would. Right, if I had a rich patron, I would sell the paintings and get money to buy the canvases. One day I'll have a big burn up. Right, I'm just using some greys in here, just don't want to spend a lot of time on this because you'll get bored. We'll put some more colour in a moment. I just want to get the basic underpainting done. Could use a bit of water just to help spread it a little bit. Just lubricate. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll use my spray. See how quickly you can cover when you spray it with a bit of water, and it'll all dry very quick. Once we've killed the canvas board, right, let's put a bit of red in now. A bit of orangey red. Get those little bits off. Hairs. Oh, it doesn't really matter, does it? What's a hair among friends? Right, let's make that a bit greyer now. Just a bit of blending. Right, okay, we've got the basis of a painting there now. I'm just drinking my tea. I'll just lift out one or two of these hairs. It's a beautiful day today. Well, we seem to have got through Storm Doris, I'm glad to say. Sorry, I just sort of drinking me tea here. Got to finish my tea, otherwise it all goes cold, and cold tea is horrible. Right, we need to brighten it up a bit now. I think that is just a bit dull. So let's we can detail it later. Let's just get this. A bit of ochre, I think, just to vary the tones with dry brush. So well, I enjoy doing these, but it's just to encourage you to try and see what you come up with. I know Dennis is who is a subscriber to YouTube and has just done an abstract expressionism painting. Let's clean that brush now. I'll go on to another brush. And his first abstract, he sold to a friend. How good is that? Right, let's go dark blue in the middle now. Let's just, well, blacky blue, dark blue. Right, that's just a little bit dry there. I'm going to just put in some dark notes. Vary the brush strokes, and it's all just get a little bit tacky now. So probably needs just to dry off. I'm working faster than the paint's drying. All right, so a bit of yellow as well. Seem to be getting a theme of zigzags again. It's a recurring theme with me. But might be too much of that, so we'll grade out some of it a bit. But, okay, clean the brush. We'll get the other brush out and give it a wipe. Okay, we'll go back and lighten up an area or two now. So if you don't like something, you can quickly obliterate it, or just go over it as another coat of paint until something happens, and it gets some more white. Right, let's go in and get these darks back in now, in the middle. move the camera a little bit. You can see it needs a little bit of more balance over here. This is a very dark bluey black. Just get a bit of a focal point in the middle there. Repeat it here and there. I think I've taken out too many of the darks there, but I need to get some more ultramarine back in with the blue and the black. So blue, black. Just blend a little bit. We kind of lighten it again in a minute. I like that bit, but I was losing too many of my darks, I think. Right. More white. Just put a little bit of ochre in with the yellow. Or with the white. It's got quite a bit of energy in this one now. Got some of that red on the periphery now, I think. Try not to make it too obvious, the reds, because they're quite overpowering, but Make different marks in the paper. So I'll make it any different now. Right, there's a bit of green in there. I love Viridian. They'll use it in watercolour, but in oil and acrylic it gives it a brilliance. Strike some reds and now who knows why I've just done that. Too much detail up here. too graphic. I quite like this area, this centre. I'm trying to get something nice going. But then we'll put any focal point right in the middle of the board. Just dry brushing now. I'm going to give that a bit of a dry. So I'm trying to get this effect across the high spots, but we're just a bit too muddy in the middle. So just take your headphones off. I think we've got rather a lot going on in the middle. Right, let's clean my brush. So just letting some of that show through now without obliterating it. Yeah, I quite like that. And I'm going to put it in the frame. So bear with me for a moment. I pack, if you can see that, I pack out behind the this bit here with just a marl stick and a bit of hardboard, just to bring the board close to the edge so that I can paint to the bottom of it rather than have it sitting right in there. Right, now frame. Got a bit battered over the last few months, right? Let's it's just a fraction too big for the frame. Right, hold on. All is not lost. I'm going to cut a bit off of it. So if I turn the camera around to there, and you might be able to see me just take a bit off, cut my fingers off. Right. Hold on. Sorry, I lost my knife. Ah, there it is. Right, can you see? Well, oops. Right, where were we? On the floor. If I go there, I think you might be able to see what I'm doing, but I have to do this on the floor. Right, hope you're with me there. The painting is pretty dry now, so I'm just going to take I should have tried it in the frame first. Right, bit of a craft knife. Always have your fingers behind the knife so that if the knife slips, it doesn't go over your fingers. I had my own business fitting carpets for over 40 years, so I'm very used to handling knives, very sharp, razor sharp knives. Okay. Now which way? That's it, that's the way. Right, I've got to put a bit of a, something's a bit awry there. Somehow that's got a bit of white there. Oh, I'll fiddle with that in a minute. Right, okay. I got a bit of white or something on the edge there. There, I'm going to just have to change that before I photograph it. Put it back to what it was. Right, well there we are. There's a lot going on in that, but I think it's quite exciting. I enjoy doing it, but it's frustrating. It's not just slapping paint on, it's trying to produce a painting that is pleasing to the eye. It could be flowers, floral tribute, something like that. It seems to have that sort of a look, doesn't it? I'll show you a painting I did. Can you see that? It was a copy of, I think, Marcel Deef, I'm not sure. Where's me looking? I did a series of 4 flower paintings. I'm not a flower painter, as you know. I love flowers in the garden, but I'm not a lover of, well, it's not my thing. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye bye.